Am I responsible for the salvation of others? That question really bedazzled me, both growing up and even especially in university. No one really articulated this tension within my life better than Nabil Kadeshki. When he talks about going to high school and having one Christian girl talk to him, a devout Muslim, who would quite eagerly engage in theological debates. But then he was talking about the other Christians in his class who never talked to him about Jesus. And he concluded that either they didn't really believe in heaven and hell, or they just didn't really care if he went to hell. And when I first heard that, it just brought up all this questions and confusions, guilt and shame around me not sharing my faith with others. And I wonder if you've experienced a similar thing. Whether you feel any guilt or shame about not sharing your faith with your classmates or your co-workers, whether your neighbors or your family members. That you wonder if you really cared about them, that you would endure the discomfort of bringing up religion and whether in everyday conversation and things like that. I realized though at some point that I may have mistaken Mr. Nabil's words, that he may have not meant it to mean that I was to take ownership of the people around me becoming saved, but rather that this is something we should treat seriously. In other words, that we should hold ourselves responsible for sowing the seeds, while letting God be responsible for growing the plants. One example that we, the InterVarsity community, is going through is we're challenging our leaders, especially, and some of our members as well, to invite the classmates, so specifically to ask the professors if they could invite the classmates to InterVarsity to come discover Jesus. And one thing that we acknowledged was that there is so much value in an invitation that we're not necessarily called to try to convert our classmates, but I think that we should look for every opportunity to be able to spread the word, and just to seek to be faithful with those opportunities. And even beyond that, to consider not just what impact the invitation might have on others, but also the impact it might have on ourselves. That we would show the world and we would even practice putting our love for God and our reverence for Him and His commands to love our neighbor and to love Him above our love for the world and our reverence for its unwritten social laws, such as don't talk about faith in public. And so that's something that I want to urge you as well to consider. Not to consider inviting your classmates or your coworkers, family members or someone else beyond the conversations of one-on-one and more into the social fabric of our society today. To enter into public and to boldly proclaim that, hey, this is something that I love, and I want you to experience just a bit of what I've experienced too. To focus less on whether someone's going to make it to heaven and avoid hell, and to focus more on loving God and loving and serving our neighbors. In other words, to be less motivated by hope of heaven and fear of hell, and to be more motivated by just love. The agape, servant-like, sacrificial kind of love that God calls us into. And so, brothers and sisters, I call you to consider, to ask your professors to invite. They'll probably say no, but just the act of being willing to do so, I think, will develop you personally. And who knows, you might have an opportunity to spread seeds widely. And God willing, to see some of it fall onto good soil, and to see it grow into 60, 100, 200 times more than was sown. And brothers and sisters, just imagine how delighted our Father, our Abba in heaven would be for dozens of students to go into their classrooms, to ask the professors, and to just show the world that their love for Him is greater than the discomfort they may experience by going against the grain and inviting people to experience the love they have experienced in Jesus Christ. Amen, and God bless you all.